depends what we're talking about. If we're talking about newbie kids, the youngest age groups, then don't worry about system of play. Kids that age need to understand the concepts, they need to be taught the technique. So, starting from the very basics, the kids need to be comfortable with the ball and then comfortable with a teammate. And then you can start working on 2v2s and small systems within that. But yeah, if it's a new kids team, don't focus too much on systems. Get the concepts down, and then the systems will go from that. If we're talking adults, a new adults team, then again it depends on each situation. If it's a new adults team that you're preparing for long term, then start with the concepts, start with the basics. Go individual defending, man-to-man marking, work on 1v1 defence before introducing defending in 2s and 3s. And if you were going to play a match, I'd really start off with man-to-man marking, because it's the most simple to understand, but also it teaches the concepts of man-to-man defence, which you're going to need in every system later on. If you were a new team and you're entering a tournament and you're wanting to win that tournament, then I'd probably recommend doing zonal. It's a little bit more complicated, but it can be a solid defence. So it depends what your aims are. You really need to look at what you've got in terms of players and what your objectives are as a team and as a club. So yeah, lots of different answers for that, but certainly if you really want to contribute to futsal development, then and you're starting with new players, kids or adults, go with man-to-man individual defence and get that nailed down first before moving on to more complex systems. That's my advice anyway. So first of all, when this rule came in England, I was at Tranmere at the time. I was against this rule, totally against it. It comes from them wanting to appear professional, and I can see the reason, because previously teams were turning up with 5 or 6 players, and that doesn't give a good image for the league. So I understand them wanting to have at least an amount of players on the team, but to force 12, I thought it was too much. Even in the Spanish league, your squad can be 10. So my first solution would be, it needs to be 10. It doesn't make sense to force 12 players to go. But as it is, okay, so if that is the rule and that's not going to change, then as a club, how do you manage that situation? Well, fortunately, not fortunately, I don't think there's too much luck involved, but every game we played in the Super League, we took 12 players. I think there might have been one, so we took 11, and we named Matt Fijos as a player on the bench to make it 12. So, but yeah, I think every other game we played with 12 players. Now, how do you create that? How do you do that without? I mean, it's hard. It's hard for a coach, especially when it's amateur and players are giving up their time. Imagine travelling for a full weekend away, 5 hours down to London, 5 hours back, overnight, away from your family, away from your studies, whatever you're doing, and only playing 30 seconds or not at all. So that's something that's very difficult to do for amateur players. It's quite a harsh rule, I think. How did we manage that at Tranmere? I think we created a buy-in. We created a really good culture of players weren't happy. No one wanted to go away and play only a few minutes, but that's the nature of the game we're in. So, but I thought we had a culture where players were part of the team. They were happy to go and do their bit, and that's what you need. You need a team of people, of players that can go and give their all for whatever they're asked. 1 minute, 10 minutes, 20 minutes, and come off the pitch with still a good attitude and support the team. Be there for their role in that team. Because their role might not be a 40-minute player or a 35-minute player. Their role might be a supporting player. But one really good example we have, Tom Bateman was in our Tranmere team. He won't have played as much minutes as he wanted to, but he did more for the team than play. It was a really good atmosphere around the squad. So it's not just about the minutes you play. It's about your part in the family, in the group, in the team. So yeah, it is really tough. It is hard for a coach to take a player away and only play a few minutes. It's hard even to do that at home. But when they've travelled so far and given up so much time, then it is really hard. But at that level in the English league or in any top league, the objective is to win. It's a competitive environment, so the players have to understand that they've got to make themselves. It's their job to make sure the coach can't drop them by training hard, working hard, giving everything, and not complaining too much. Just complaining the right way. You speak to your coach after the game, and you get the feedback, and you discuss it, and you understand why. But always try harder and be patient and give everything. So I've done the level 1, level 2 in England, and some other coaching courses like the youth modules. But then in Spain I did the monitor, which is equivalent to like probably level 1 or level 1 and 2. Then there's the UEFA B, which is level 3 in England, and UEFA A. Now, probably the one I struggled most with was probably the UEFA B, simply because I'd been in Spain for 9 months at that point, and my Spanish wasn't the best. So I was trying to take in all this information, which was constant. It was 6 hours a day for 5 weeks, 6 weeks. So taking all this information in a foreign language made it tougher. The second year I did my UEFA A, the level 2 in Spain, and I think I took in more on that course simply because I was better at the language, and I've been there longer, so understood a bit more about the game over there and the culture. However, the content in that course was much harder. Looking back, that was a really tough course. So my mark overall was lower than the UEFA B. But yeah, the UEFA B was tougher because it was a new environment. When I started in futsal in 2005, pretty much at that point I decided this is the career I want. I was studying computer animation at the time at university, but I realised futsal was where I wanted to go. I wanted to be involved in sport, and I wanted to follow that route rather than, I couldn't see myself being an animator or in special effects, which was the route I was heading towards. And to be good at anything, you need to be a geek. You need to be dedicated, obsessed. And I saw the people on my course doing animation, and they were what you typically describe. They were the typical geeks. And I'm not using that in a derogatory way at all. I consider myself a futsal geek. And they were geeks for that course. They were obsessed with that course. They were programming 24/7. They were up all night doing what they loved. And I found myself gearing more towards futsal and giving all my time to something that wasn't my course. So at that point I realised that's where I want to go. So how I managed it? Well, first of all, it took me 12 years to get a paid role, in full-time paid role in futsal. I had some small paid roles here and there, but it took me 12 years of studying, volunteering, making networks, contacting people, learning from coaches, learning a new language I needed to do to go and get the knowledge from a different country, and then being open to new opportunities. And so my first full-time paid job was at Tranmere Rovers. Up to that being part-time, coaching in Spain, and a lot of volunteering in England before that, and then some short paid roles. Yes, my first paid role came 12 years after starting my journey, and I was living in Spain at the time. I was very happy, but this opportunity was one I'd been working all my life towards, so I couldn't turn it down. And yeah, from when I went to Tranmere, my objective was to stay there a long time, build something really successful, and unfortunately the club had a restructure, financial decisions made, the futsal redundant, which is unfortunate because we had something really good going, but money always sort of dictates decisions, I think, in certain environments. But yeah, then just being open and sharing a lot of my work, and being active on social media, because no one's going to promote you until you've made it. No one else is going to promote you. So yeah, I was always active on social media, still am. Even that's where I got my job through Tranmere. But then as soon as I left there, the guys in Malta got in touch. And again, through conversations over social media, they were aware of my work, and they wanted to do that in Malta. So at that point now, I'm a futsal coach. It's my job. It's my full-time job. It's my profession. So once I left Malta, at that point I was thinking, wow, it's going to be tough now to get the next job, and it wasn't easy to come to Malaysia. It wasn't easy to make this step, but all the time you've got to be open. You've got to be flexible in that you can't really have too many ties if you want to be a coach. As more money comes into the sport, then yeah, maybe you can move with a family, and luckily or not, but my situation at the moment is without family, so I'm a bit more flexible and adaptable to these situations. So and yeah, it was all through personal contacts. I've never used an agency. It's something I might consider in the future, but I also believe you can make the network yourself, and it's not necessary to go through an agency. But we'll see what comes next after this. Right now, I'm happy here, and hopefully, I'm here for a good few years before needing to get the services of an agent. I'll keep this short. That was from Liam Ellison on Facebook. I've met Liam. Liam came to training in Tranmere with his brother. Really good guys. And now back in Australia. Advice for Australia. Now I've worked a few times with Australian touring groups, and I've had Daniel Capolaro come to England, Corey come to England. My advice for Australia is get united, get together. There's a lot of splinters in Australia, a lot of different groups doing their own thing, which is great, but I think there needs to be one central organisation. It should be the FFA, it might not be, but it's a massive country as well, so I've never been there. I can't profess to know the answers to Australia's futsal problem. Australia seems to be doing okay, with a lot of people playing, so no, I think if they did unite and did something together, then they'd have a really strong futsal community. Now, I've sent Joel already a link to an article I wrote about trials and how to prepare and impress. Have a look at that. I'll share a link to that. So I'm not going to go through that again, but to trial, be open, go abroad, go and meet the clubs, go and speak to the coaches, speak to the management, and go and ask for a trial. It's easier said than done, but if you really want to get an opportunity abroad, then you need to go. It's going to be very difficult to be hired and get an opportunity in a club just from videos. Go and show yourself, go and play some games, But yeah, be open to it. Like I do with my coaching, be open and get yourself out there and make the right contacts and just be really open and willing. Probably your first job abroad, your first coaching, your first playing position abroad, probably going to be without pay. But if you really want to make it, then you're going to have to make that sacrifice and go for it.